Hello everyone, my name is Gloria Rivera. I work in a public school in New Jersey as a special education teacher. Today I'm going to introduce the term on reinforcement and also the different types of reinforcement available. But before that, I would like to provide a brief background information that I am sure will be very useful to understand better this concept. To understand the concept of reinforcement, it is important to review first the origin of this term, which is part of an approach or method of learning called operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is a technique for modifying behaviors that was developed by Skinner in the 1930s. The technique is based on the principles of reinforcement and punishment. Today, no punishment. We're not going to talk about punishments. According to Skinner model, behaviors are influenced by their consequences and can be modified by changing the reinforcement or punishment. Initially, operant conditioning was based mainly on animal models, but it has since evolved into more sophisticated applications. It is more regarded as one of the founding practices of ABA therapy, which is all about teaching skills, modifying behaviors, and creating independence. ABA therapy is based on the operant conditioning theory, very important, of Skinner, who states that behaviors can be taught by controlling consequences. Reinforcement is the primary method of teaching. Reinforcement, that's the term that I was looking for. It is a most important principle of a behavior, which is an integral part of the most behavior change programs. When a behavior is followed closely in time by a stimulus, the behavior is strengthened, leading to an increase in its frequency in the future. A simplistic example, a child may be rewarded for getting a preferred item, for example, a candy, to calm him down after a tantrum. In this case, the reinforcement can lead to support and desired behaviors in the future. To determine when and how to have reinforcement in a systematic manner so that the desirable behavior are more likely to occur, it is necessary to define two types of reinforcement. We have the positive reinforcement and the negative reinforcement. And we're going to start now with the positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement occurs when a stimulus immediately follows a person's behavior, increasing the likelihood of the behavior occurring again in the future. In other words, in, in positive reinforcement, a desirable stimulus is added to increase a behavior. Positive reinforcement can be the desirable outcome, which satisfies the needs such as food, water, money, status, price, etc. In other words, in positive reinforcement, a desirable stimulus is added to increase a behavior. Look at here, plus R, adding. For example, Cami, if you wish if you finish your veggies, you will get your preferred item. Reinforcement is the dessert that Cami loves, and the desirable behavior is that Cami eats her veggies. Other example is you work hard and go above and beyond for 1 year. Your boss gives you a raise. That was the expectations. You get rewarded for something or you get something that you want, but you have to do something also. The other type of reinforcement is the negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement occurs when a certain stimulus, usually an aversive stimulus, is removed. This is about removing. Don't get confused with punishment. After a particular behavior is shown. When the negative consequences is removed, the likelihood of the behavior occurring again is increased. In negative reinforcement, you are not punishing. You are increasing a behavior because you're removing something that you don't want. The following is an example of negative reinforcement. I'm going to give you the first one. Every morning I press a button that turns off a loud alarm. I am removing the loud alarm. That will be my negative reinforcement. Another one is, I don't like having headaches, so I've learned when I get a headache, if I take ibuprofen, that's my reinforcement, I can escape the pain of the headache. As you could hear on these examples, an aversive stimulus is removed. Things to remember, operant conditioning, it is a method of changing behavior by relying on reinforcement and punishment. Reinforcement, it is a procedure that makes the behavior happen again in the future. increasing behavior, two types of reinforcement, positive and negative. Positive reinforcement is not a reward, it's adding something to the environment to make the behavior more likely to occur in the future. Negative reinforcement is not a punishment. Think about it like removing something negative in order to increase a response. Last but not least, let's practice a positive reinforcement. The child doesn't want to do her bed, but we create a reward system. We gave her something that she likes, and then we're gonna have the desirable behavior that we were expecting, that the child makes her bed. That's positive. Now, negative reinforcement is the annoying buzzing in your car. It stops. It stops when you put your seatbelt on. So more likely, you're gonna put your seatbelt on. Remember, guys, that we can transform behaviors using the reinforcement to teach skills. That's the more important thing, teaching skills.